What's up, everybody? I'm back. Yeah, I know. I've been slacking. Not been doing very good with the videos. Struggling a little bit of depression, anxiety, and whatnot over this damned election. But it's over and it's done, and I don't want to talk about it. So it is what it is. But all I can do is live my life as best I can, and help my kids as best I can, and teach my kids as best I can, and maybe try and teach anybody else's kids that might happen to want to listen. Outside of that, there ain't a goddamn thing I can do about this mess we're in. So let's get out of that mess. Let's not even discuss it. What have we been doing? Well, we've been working on drag cars, the RC cars. At least Billy has. And I have been working on my monster trucks. Billy picked up this brand new Rustler the other day, and been working on it a little bit. I've got like a tank and a half of fuel through it, breaking the engine in, and I think we're going to order a chassis, an extended chassis, and we're going to build a drag car, nitro drag car out of this Rustler. And then, of course, he's got this thing. I think he's drawing for the winner on it tomorrow. That beautiful blue Z28 Camaro. That's the giveaway car. That's going to be drawn tomorrow, I believe. Meanwhile, I've been working on my collection of Monster GT nitro-powered monster trucks. I've got 7 or 8 of them now. I've got all of them running except for one. I need to put an engine and transmission in one of them. But I've mostly been working on my blue 72 Blazer. I just put a new original 21R engine in it, big block 21R. It's got entity shocks on it and aluminum control arms and brand new aluminum skid plates. It's got a new factory team cylinder head. It's turned out pretty decent. I'm still working on it though. What are you doing there, June pup? Huh? You gonna lay down? We're gonna be out there for a while, so you might as well lay down, relax. All right, so that's what we've been up to anyway. And let's get into what we just got into. This last weekend, we went down to Gulf Port, Mississippi, and raced in the Civil War race. Unfortunately, we lost first round to BRENT self. It was a good race, and we fouled that deal up, and I'll get into that here in a little bit. And I want to explain what happened. It's not an excuse so much as it is I'm trying to teach people how to learn from our mistakes, and unfortunately we made a doozy. So I started filming last Thursday, off and on. And I guess we'll just dive into that. We'll just start in last Thursday when we started filming. I think me and June Pup was hauling gravel when I started filming last week. Here we go. What's up, everybody? It is Thursday, and me and old June Pup here are headed to the quarry to go get a load of limestone. I got to deliver a load of stone today. We've been up and at it already this morning. I took the Suburban down to Bowman, Goodyear, and Hebron. Had a right rear tire, kept losing air on the Suburban. And we're getting ready to leave to go to that North versus South Civil War race down in Mississippi. So I wanted to make sure I got that tire fixed on the Suburban. And I ran it through the douche nozzle this morning down at Hebron, the car wash. Got it cleaned up, checked the oil. Anyway, we're getting ready to go. We've been on hiatus for about a month now. It seems like forever since we went racing. But I've been working on the RC cars and racing the RC cars. That's been good. Keep our mind off things. Keep us occupied. Billy started a giveaway for that Camaro. I think that's going pretty good. He's going to cut that off in a few days and draw a winner. Really nice little Z28 Camaro. Anyway, We're headed south. I think tomorrow morning. I'm not 100% sure, but I think tomorrow morning. Unless the real Civil War starts, and in which case we'll probably stay home, grab our goddamn muskets and get to work. I don't know what the hell we're gonna do. This country's in a hell of a mess. We've been working on cleaning out the shop. Uh-oh. What are you doing?
Just polishing up the only nice thing on the truck.
And Bogart's though. We got the bead locks back on it.
First pair will be on these tires. The big tires.
Everything seem okay? How bad the oil look in it?
It's pretty bad. It needed changed. I think sitting there that long for a month or so, it really builds some moisture in the oil. You know, if there's any alcohol in it at all, it just sucks in moisture.
Yeah. It needs a bath.
Maybe we can stop by our buddy down in Mississippi, do a car wash.
Seriously? Come on, that's enough.
Now you're ready for your trip.
So after a long 14-hour trip, we finally arrive at Gulf Port Dragway, Gulf Port, Mississippi. couple months earlier, I had locked in with Brent Self, first round, first pair, right off the trailer. I knew that was my best shot at beating Brent, with him having little to no data for the surface. Now at this point in time, I hadn't even driven the truck up the road, much less made a pass, in over a month. The Ohio winters make it really hard to test, but we were still up for the challenge, and I wanted to see where we stacked up. As Wayne Gretzky once said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I was pretty upset that I had lost first round, but I was happy to be at a racetrack with all my buddies watching some badass racing.
So, we had just driven, 13 and a half hours one way and lost first round. Billy lost a $500 bet with Brent, lost his entry fee. We'd stayed overnight in a hotel, gassed the Suburban up 4 times to get there. Out to dinner, all that expense. And we had Brent Self right where we wanted him. Had him right where I wanted him. And we blew it. We blew it. Heartbreaking, man. Absolutely heartbreaking, but I will say this. I learned a valuable lesson, and I won't repeat it. Now, I got to tell you that Brent Self and I had never met. I had never talked to him. And to this day, I still haven't spoken to him, actually. I didn't have to say a word. Brent's the kind of person you can look in the eye and shake his hand and you don't have to say a word. He already knows. But just so you guys know, let me explain to you what we did wrong. When we first got to the track, I walked out and checked the lanes. It was clear as day that the right-hand lane was very coarse towards the right side of the groove, while the left lane was very tight. We had Brent right where we wanted him. We won the coin toss and stuck Brent in the right-hand lane. Up until this point right here, I figured we had this. So, here's what happened. We got down there and the battery was dead in the truck. I was hustling trying to get the truck started. We didn't have a battery charger, we didn't have a generator, we didn't have jumper cables, and we were the first pair to go down the track, and we were a little bit late getting there, so Billy went straight up to the driver's meeting, and unfortunately, everybody was pretty much at the driver's meeting, except for spectators. And there was a lot of spectators that wanted to come back and say hi, of course. They saw us pull in, and I get it, and and we're trying to be attentive. We don't want to tell anybody we're too busy. So we're really doing our best to talk to everybody and all that. And it's not their fault. It's my fault. It's Billy's fault. It's our fault. But anyway, one of the last things that I needed to do is have Billy turn the draggy on and check the density altitude. And I failed to do that. I failed to remind him. I failed to do something that I knew. I was thinking about it on the way in the track that morning. I was thinking about it, but I didn't communicate that with Billy. I didn't remind him, but it was definitely on my mind because I was thinking, you know, we're close to the coast. When I see palm trees and sand and you know, you can almost smell the ocean from where we were. You got to watch that, and I failed. I failed. So I did not check the density altitude. I did not remind Billy to check the density altitude, and we had the tune-up set for the initial tire hit to be good for 2,000 to 3,000 feet of density altitude. And unfortunately, the density altitude was like 700 feet below sea level. But what that means is the engine makes more power at 700 feet below sea level density altitude than it does at 2,500 and 3,000. So even though we were leaving on no boost, we were leaving at 3,500 RPM, pulling 15 degrees of timing. It wasn't enough. It wasn't enough to kill it, and it knocked the tire. But you know, we messed up. I can't hardly blame Billy. You know, he did the best he could. You know, we hadn't been racing a month, and the last time we had gone racing, we weren't even on a surface like that. It really wasn't fresh in his mind to pedal. And really, we try not to do that anyway, because a turbo car, when you pedal them, it takes a second or two for it to calm down. It takes a second or two to come back. And, you know, I'm sure Billy felt that running Brent's self off the trailer, he didn't have that kind of time. He didn't have that kind of he just didn't feel comfortable doing it. The truck was rolling. I mean, it was moving. It was moving out. I mean, even though it was white smoke in the tires and black tracking, it was still 2 cars ahead of Brent. So when Billy looked over his shoulder, you know, he knows he's smoking the tires, but Brent's 2 cars back, and Billy's just waiting for the truck to catch and waiting for it to catch and waiting for it to catch, and it never caught. But check out what Brent did. This is incredible. They take off. Brent's about a car and a half, maybe 2 cars back. As the boost rolls in, Brent's car kicks the tires, and he never lets off the gas. He wheels this Camaro for all it's worth and drives right into the finish line and pulls the chutes just in time to straighten the car up and keep him from hitting Billy. Brent Self is one hell of a driver. I mean, one hell of a driver. It takes an incredible skill to do what Brent did. Now, they both misread the surface. Neither one of them had a tune-up worth a damn. But if you want to win, and if you want to be a consistent winner, if you want to be a champion, if you want to be the best at whatever you do, you find a way to win races you should never win. And that's what Brent did. My hat's off to him. He's a hell of a driver. So anyway, that's how we screwed up first round off the trailer, 13 and a half hours away from home against Brent Self. We had him right where we wanted him. And it's just one little tiny detail that I missed. And I'll never forget it. I'll never let that happen again. For us, that would have been the shot heard around the world if we had beat Brent, because Brent's a bad man. There's no question. He's a hell of a driver. He's got a hell of a car. And that was our shot. It is what it is. You got to go on. So let's get on with this video. We jumped in the second chance race, and we went clear to the final. we lost another tight one. So the 16 first round losers had the opportunity to lock in to the second chance race. I call it the duck race, whatever. So we traveled that far, we might as well get in the duck race. So Billy locks in and we get paired up with this little nitrous Fox body Mustang first round. We pulled just a little bit more timing out of it and a little more RPM, and the truck went right down through there. The next round, we got this good looking Firebird. The truck wasn't going nearly as fast as we had hoped. The surface had proved to be a little bit more tricky than what we had thought. It was getting cold by now. It felt like it was in the 20s, but it was actually around 34 degrees. The surface was tricky. We made it to the final, but we weren't happy. As I pulled Billy up for his buy run, he got a buy into the finals here. I had watched the Camaro the previous round, and the Camaro had won in the left-hand lane. So we decided to take our buy run in the right. The truck went right down the lane. Slow, but it went right down the lane. I felt we had a halfway decent shot. If we could get that left lane in the final, I figured we had a shot at this. But unfortunately, we lost the coin toss, and we got stuck in the right-hand lane anyway. Billy does his burnout, and I back him up in his tracks, trying to keep him over to the left side of the groove as much as possible, because the right-hand side of the groove was very loose, very coarse, and we were going to need every ounce of traction we could get to make a good enough lick to beat this Camaro in the final. The little green Camaro over there from Indiana made a really good pass the round before. We had our hands full. Here you can see limpy motions to me that we're going in second. So I hold two fingers up in front of Billy so he knows he's going in last. I pull him up to the line, put his bumper right on it, take my spot in the back of the truck. Both cars left good, dead even to about 330 feet. But Billy got into that loose stuff out there in the right-hand side of the groove and lost traction. You can hear it here as he goes down the track.
They had to review both finish line cameras on that last race. They ended up calling the win for the Camaro.
Damn.
It didn't go no faster, and I grabbed the scramble at half track. Just blowing through the converter, probably. It actually slowed down 0.5 mile an hour.
You gotta be kidding me.
It's either spinning or blowing through the converter.
How close was it?
Maybe 3 feet, 2 feet.
Damn.
We got the good lane, and that was the best I could do in that right.
You drilled him on the light too.
That's the best I could fucking do. But losses like this one only drive me to get faster and faster. So I've got some upgrades to do.